Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. I hope that you are healthy and safe, and so is your family. Today, we're going to kind of pick up where we left off. Um, our last day in school, we were talking about ethos, pathos, and logos as rhetorical devices. That is, devices or tools, right, that writers or speakers in speeches can use to persuade their audiences. So today, we're going to practice using logos in our own writing. The goal or objective for today is to be able to effectively use logos in your own writing and also write a comprehensive or a complete, right, persuasive paragraph. So, in order for you to be able to do that, I'm going to do some modeling for you today, and I'm also going to go over the instructions for what you have to do on Google Classroom. So the first thing you're going to do is watch this video that I'm making right now. And then you are going to, once you've watched the video, write a paragraph that responds to one of the following prompts, just one. And you're going to be sure to use logos in your response. Now, to review what logos is so that you guys don't feel as though you aren't familiar enough with that to be able to write this paragraph, here we go. We're going to review logos. So logos, remember, it sounds like the word logic, is an appeal to your audience's logic and or rationality. The author or speaker will give the audience a good reason to do as they would like you to do, right? As they're trying to persuade you to do. So they'll offer facts, statistics, evidence, and reasoning related to the topic. We had this example in class last week. It says, are you a smoker? This is the amount of tar in your lungs after 2 years. So this is a fact here that supports the idea that you should not smoke. And we also looked at this example along with some others. This is an ad for Dole Orange Peach Mango Juice, and it has quick stats about the juice. It's 120 calories per serving, 100% juice, meaning no additives or added sugar, and it contains 100% of your daily dose or need of vitamin C. All right. So now that we've reviewed logos, it should be becoming fairly clear what sort of information or evidence you need to put in your response in order to really be using logos in your response, right? You're going to use facts in your paragraph to back up why you believe what you believe. So here are the prompts that you can choose from. One is, who is the greatest basketball or football player of all time? And if you feel like you have no idea what you would want to argue or where to find evidence about this, you can click on these links. They'll take you to fact sheets that have facts about different, well, it's only going to give you LeBron and Michael Jordan. If you want to argue something else, you can go and do your own research. But it also gives you kind of an idea of what sort of facts you could use to support your claim. LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan because typically he had more assists per game during his career. He played more seasons, whatever you want to say. But use the evidence here if you would like. All right, same with who is the greatest pop star slash singer slash band of all time and why. You can use my fact sheet, but you might not like the artist on there, so you might have to do your own research. There's also what is the greatest pet to have and why. I have a fact sheet about dogs and cats. You could use that, or you can simply make your own argument. All right. You could also write your own prompt, right? It says other, write your own prompt here. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to ask that many of you try not to write exactly the sort of response that I am writing here in my model, all right? So my prompt is, should Americans use more forms of renewable energy? Now, because I don't have fact sheets to use, I had to do my own kind of search for information to put in my response here. But I will say, I know I'm going to argue that Americans should use more forms of renewable energy. Now, all of the prompts actually must, and the claims must address why. So I'm adding why to my prompt now, and I have to figure out what the reasons why I believe this are, and they should relate to the evidence that I find. Let me go over the rubric with you guys real quick too, just so you know what is required in the paragraph that you write. So in order to get a perfect score or to write a really strong paragraph, you need at least 5 sentences. You need an accurate claim, right? So the reasoning in your claim has to be true and accurate. You need at least 2 pieces of relevant evidence. So those could be direct quotes or paraphrases from the fact sheet or from online. And then you must thoroughly explain how the evidence supports the claim. All right, so like I said, I'm going to wait on my reasoning until I've looked through my source and gotten my evidence or information that I'm going to add here, which is using logos, right? So I've quickly already pulled up an article because I didn't want to waste too much time in the video doing that. Notice it's a .org. All right, it's a Union of Concerned Scientists that wrote this article. It was published fairly recently, updated very recently, and it seems like a reliable source to me. And so I am totally comfortable with you guys using sources that look like this. Use your skills that you already have learned this year for determining the quality of your online source. All right. One of the reasons off the top of my head that I think I want to include in this response is that using renewable energy can help us as global citizens decrease our emissions. Carbon emissions are one of the leading contributors to global warming, and so I'm going to look for a fact that supports that. And I think I had one kind of picked out here. This paragraph in the article reads, in addition, a groundbreaking study by the U.S. Department of Energy's National Renewable Energy Laboratory explored the feasibility of generating 80% of the country's electricity from renewable sources by 2050. They found that renewable energy could help reduce the electricity sector's emissions by 81%. So this is the fact that I really want in my response. So it says, Americans should use more forms of renewable energy because, and I can just paste it for now. I think I will paraphrase it ultimately, but this reason essentially is because renewable energy sources will help us reduce our carbon emissions and slow global warming. My claim is going to end up being 2 sentences because I think I'm going to use 2 reasons, 2 different facts in my paragraph to support the claim. The other reason or fact, right, that I'm going to use to support the idea that we should be using renewable energy sources or more of them is the idea that it won't hurt the job market really, and in fact it could actually help produce more jobs. So this fact here helps support that. It says other renewable energies employ even more workers. In 2016, the solar industry employed more than 260,000 people, including jobs in solar installation, manufacturing, and sales, a 25% increase over 2015. So I am going to copy this piece of information. And notice they both have statistics and numbers in them, which makes them definitively logos, right? All right. I thought it was interesting too. In this article, it said, in contrast, the entire coal industry employed 160,000, which shows that there are less coal jobs than there are renewable energy jobs right now already. And so I'll explain this a little bit in my response as well. All right, so now I have my 2 pieces of evidence, so I'll get credit here. And I could even put a little check. I'll do that later. And I am starting on an accurate claim. All right, so my claim starts out, Americans should use more forms of renewable energy because renewable energy sources will help us reduce our carbon emissions and slow global warming. Plus, the more forms of renewable energy we use, the more jobs can be created. Don't know if I love the wording, but it's okay for now. All right, so then I'm going to transition into my evidence. I'm going to use a transition like more specifically according to, and I'll kind of briefly cite my source, right? The Union of Concerned Scientists. Using more solar panels and other forms of renewable energy could help decrease I guess I have to use these words, right? The electricity sector's carbon, I'll be more specific here, emissions by about 81%. Now, I can't just transition into my next piece of evidence. Instead, I first have to explain this piece of evidence, okay? So I'm going to say reducing carbon emissions, or rather renewable energy sources' abilities to reduce carbon emissions would benefit the environment tremendously, or the globe tremendously, by potentially slowing the rate of global warming. So basically what I've done is explained why reducing or decreasing carbon emissions is a good thing. Okay, that's how I explained my evidence. I said this would benefit the globe tremendously by slowing the rate of global warming. Okay, now I get to transition into my second piece of evidence. So I might use a transition like furthermore. While some argue that switching to renewable sources of energy rather than dirtier sources of energy like coal will eliminate jobs. This turns out to be untrue. All right, and then I would put this evidence. In 2016, and I am going to actually just quote it, the solar industry employed more than 260,000 people, a 25% increase over 2015. And then this was a paragraph later, so I have to put the ellipses, ... in between. In contrast, the entire coal industry employed 160,000. So I'm going to explain these by saying these numbers reveal that the solar industry is already employing more people than the coal industry. A positive sign for the job outlook as Americans, switch to using more forms of renewable energy. And that is it. I should proofread it one time. I will now, but I'm not going to make you guys watch any longer. I want you to try this on your own, okay? So you can use any of these prompts and these fact sheets. That might go a little faster, or you could write your own prompt and do your own sort of response. Just make sure you include your prompt here. and then you write your response here for me. And double check that it meets the requirements on this rubric, okay? Thank you so much. Good luck and have a great day. Feel free to email me at any time, guys. Take care.